because anytime I get a growler here, I know it's fresh beer and it's good beer and it's from a local brewery in North Carolina. This is actually from the Front Street Brewery. They are in downtown Wilmington, North Carolina. I was in town and was able to get my hands on a growler several months ago. They're Port City IPA. I have a review of that on our website and our YouTube channel. This is something different, and something different that I normally wouldn't buy, but I'm going to tell you why I bought it. This is called Swamp Lager. Number one, I like the name Swamp Lager. Number two, I like the fact that it's got a cool story behind it. And even though it's the winter of 2013, it has been incredibly hot recently. And a lot of the darker stout beers, nut browns, porters that you typically have in the wintertime have just been too thick for my palate. And I wanted something just a little bit lighter. And I just went off my normal IPA stout type trend and said, I'll try Swamp Lager. I'm glad I did. I tried it at the restaurant. We're going to try this growler tonight. So what it is a German Schwarzbier, which is a lager that is black, basically. There's a lot of beers like this. I've done several beer reviews from different breweries. They're not as thick. They've got a lot more flavor to them, obviously, than a regular lager because of the malt that's put in them. This beer is described as, it's a tribute to the swamp lagers from Pender County. And what Pender County is it's, if you look on the map of North Carolina on the coast, Pender County is just north of New Hanover County, which is where Wilmington is, where a lot of the swamp land is. And what's most important is, if you look at the history of the port of Wilmington, north of Wilmington is where a lot of the logs came down the Cape Fear River in the past. When logging was big 100 years ago, they would float them down the Cape Fear River, and then they would actually collect them at the port of Wilmington and then ship them off after they've been milled for lumber. And it's a huge reason why Wilmington is a city these days. Wilmington's known for its beaches, for its movies, but logging is the reason the whole city was even put on the map, and why the port to the ocean, to the deep water, even became in existence. It was from logging. So there's your history. So it became famous from the Pender County lagers. This beer is, this dark beer drinks light, like what I explained earlier. Thinks it's a dark beer from German engineering, but has a comfortable, classy, light, smooth, not heavy or bitter drinkability. It drinks like a Pilsner with hints of chocolate around the edges, hence the darker color. So let's check this out. A lot of history on this beer. Some people don't like that when I do my reviews, but I thought that was worth explaining. Thought that was really cool. So this beer is straight out of a growler, straight out of the big kegs at the brewery, at Front Street Brewery. So you can see it's really dark. It's got a little bit of a red tint here when you kind of tilt the glass, but for the most part you can't see your hand through here. Now remember, this is a lager that drinks like a Pilsner, which are usually really, really thin textured palate-like beers, lighter beers. So it's got a little bit of a frothy head. You can tell it dissipated pretty quick. Legs, not so much, but it shouldn't. It's only 4.8% alcohol. Definitely smell the chocolate. Definitely smell the malts. What I remember from being in there, it definitely has a very firm chocolate background to it, but it's very easy to drink. It's very filtered. There's no residue in here. It's not really carbonated at all, and most Schwarz beers are not. Most German beers aren't extremely carbonated either. It's just got a nice kind of what I would call clean, filtered texture to it, with quite a bit of chocolate. I wouldn't even say it's a hint. It's pretty chocolatey, but it doesn't have that kick. Like what I was saying, the whole reason I bought this was because I didn't want a real thick, dense, really heavy palate beer because it's just been so hot. It's not what I want. It's not what your palate wants. It's not what you crave. You crave something a little bit thinner with a lot more drinkability, and this is it. This is a really, really good beer. This is one of those beers where most people watching this video will never get to try. But I do a lot of these videos so that when you are at your local brewery and you're thinking, well, I'm going to get a stout, an IPA, or I'm getting the same ESB that I always get, try something like this, because when it's really fresh like this out of a growler, and when it's something that is kind of a little different than what your palate has been used to because of the time of year, you're probably going to be extremely pleased with your selection, just to kind of shake it up a little bit. So if you get a chance, check it out. Front Street Brewery in downtown Wilmington, North Carolina. These things are, I forget how much I paid for this. $12, $13, which is dirt cheap. You bring this thing back, you recycle growlers, wash it out, they'll switch it out. It's usually like a $4 or $5 deposit. I think to refill these things there was like $8. And that's a steal. Absolute bargain. So check it out. I would give this beer at least a 3 to a 3.5 on a rating scale of 1 to 5. I'll probably try this again. Here's the issue. I walk into a place like this, and there's like 2 or 3 beers that I really, really want to try. The stout, the IPA, maybe some special blend they have that's been soaked in bourbon barrels. So I never get to beers like this, just because I want to try the other ones and I like them so much. So step out of your comfort zone with your beers. Check this style of beer out. Always support your local breweries. And thanks for watching microbeerreviews.com. We'll see you again real soon. Cheers.